What's up, Wired fam? How's everybody doing this evening? It is Wednesday, 5/5. Hope everybody had a good May the 4th be with you yesterday. Da-dun. Hope y'all had a good day, had a good week. Hope everybody had a good weekend last weekend. Since I talked to you guys last, guys, don't forget, drop a hello when you get on. I'd love to see everybody's comments. Please, 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 if you have questions, don't ever leave one of my lives unless I've answered your question. Okay? If you have to type your question in there 15 times to get me to answer it, please, please, please make sure I answer your question before you leave this live. That's what I'm here for, guys. I'm here. Yeah, I have agendas and I have things we talk about and I have things to go on about. But at the end of the day, this is a Q&A. This is your time to ask questions to me. So do not leave here without asking your questions. Thank you all for being here. Let's see who all is here tonight. We have got Jamie Nelson. Hello, hello. Andy Perry, what's up, from Central Alabama. Move that phone out of the way. Bo Myers from Maryville, Tennessee. What's going on, Bo? Little hometown action right there from Maryville, Tennessee. That's where I'm from, guys, in case y'all didn't know that. I live in Maryville, Tennessee. Andrew Leffield. Did I say that right? Hello from Western Ohio. What's going on? Jimmy Pratt. What's up, Jimmy? Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well, Jimmy. Terry Gear. Hello from Middle Tennessee. Ashley Coffee. Hello, Matt from Norris Lake. Ashley, you can keep Norris Lake. You can have it all to yourself. We've talked about that before, but that whole lake is yours, my friend. Have fun with it. All right, let's see what else we got. Or who else we got? James Hamby, what's going on from Saudi Daisy? Karen H. Karen, what's going on? She says, hey, from Truman Lake, Missouri. On the lake right now, looking at a beautiful sunset and catching crappie. Well, I wish I was on the lake with the sunset catching crappie, but right now it is dark in East Tennessee, so no sunsets here. But Karen, I'm glad you're with us. Thank you very much for being here. Crappie Kev, what's going on? From Virginia. Tom A, hello. Clay Johnson, what's going on, buddy? Johnny Coots, hello. D Carr says in Seattle this week. D's in Seattle. Good night. That's a little ways away from me. Let's see, Heath McDaniel, you there on business or you fishing in Seattle? Slab Buster, what's going on? Crappie Crushing TV says, what's up, Wired? Still dealing with the cold fronts here in southwest Pennsylvania. So cold in Pennsylvania still. Sorry about that. Still cold in Pennsylvania. It'll warm up eventually, right? It was a little chilly down here today. I'm not sure what the temperature got down to today, but I walked out, let's see, it was probably about 3 o'clock. I walked outside and I caught a chill. So I'm rather getting something or it was cold. So I don't know, one of the two. But I caught a chill today too. The wind was a little chilly. Rusty Prophet, hello, hello. What's going on, Rusty? Glad you're back on. I am back. Jared Womack says, I'm here. What's up, Jared? Robert Johnson, hello from Cressette, Arkansas. Asleep at the Reel. What's going on, Chris? Hey, Matt, here and watching in case the natives get wild. Wanted to say hi, but just listening. Y'all be nice. That's funny. What's going on, Chris? Jeff Branham from West Virginia. Hello. Andrew Alonzo. What's going on? From Oakdale. D. Carr says, driving back to Texas Saturday. Let's see. Larry McBride. Hello, hello. From North Arkansas. Stephen from Holly Springs. Congrats on the house progress. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it very much, buddy. The house is coming along. It's coming along well. We're actually starting block tomorrow, I'm told. We'll see. I think it's tomorrow, if I remember correctly. But start block, you're gonna see walls coming up. So you guys have not seen the newest version or newest episode for the house, so I'm not going to give too much away for that because I do have an episode to put out for the house. You guys can catch that probably tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. For the next episode on the house update, but so I won't give away too much on that tonight. Michael says he's still wanting to go fish with me on Nickajack. Hit me up, Michael. I will do that. I'm told I need to go fish Nickajack, so we need to get together and go fish Nickajack for sure. Blake Hawk says, "What's up from Marion, North Carolina?" What's going on, Blake? D-Car says, smash that like button. I'm going to get it right here in a minute. Smash that like button. Guys, that like button is very important if you like the content at Wired for Crappie. What that does is that allows people to see, first and foremost, it's good content, right? Good content on here. We're doing some good things, talking about good things, but it also helps out with YouTube's algorithms. So they have an algorithm that tells them, how many people are liking what videos, and then those liked videos are suggested to other crappie fishermen like you guys that will see it, say, hey, 387 people like that. Maybe I should watch it. There's something good going on there. So smash that thumbs up button when you're here, please. That always helps. Jimmy Pratt says 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, 7:30 in the morning. I hear you. I'm actually probably going to pass by you in the morning, Jimmy, because I have to go to a job in the morning, and then I'll probably be passing by there. So how do you like your coffee, Jimmy? I'll bring you a cup of coffee if you're going to be there. Are you going to be there, and what kind of coffee do you like? Troy Caswell from Kentucky. What's going on? From Troy, Kentucky. Tim Payne. What's going on, Tim? Right here in Maryville. So, guys, rolling across the bottom of your screen real quick is your discount codes, okay? Crappie Cove, 10% off with the discount code WIRED. You can use the WIRED discount code online now. So you can go to crappiecove.com and you can use that WIRED discount code. Or you can call the store at 233-3471 and get 10% off everything at Crappie Cove. Also, 10% off fishing specialties with the code WIRED. You can get your fishing specialties pole for your live scope or your transducers, 10% off. And then obviously the last code down there, bonehead tackle, 15% off, Crappie 2021. So take advantage of those codes, guys. Crappie Cove has got a lot of great products in it. They've got a lot of great stuff. If you have not seen all the stuff that they do have, you can go watch the Crappie Cove video on my channel. It shows you everything that they have. They have more now. They've added to their inventory, but that gives you a good basic or a good showing of everything that they have in the store. They've got frog togs, bubba knives, rods, reels, tackle, baits. They've got it all. So check them out, crappiecove.com, and great people. And they ship quick, and they've got great pricing. So check them out. Get your products 10% off. That's for you guys. That's being part of the channel, right? So let's see. Oh, Jimmy says never had coffee. Well, then what do you drink? Well, don't answer that on here. I'll call you in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. But I will holler at you in the morning, Jimmy, because I will actually be coming by there. I may just swing in if you're going to be there. So. And I think you told me about that coffee thing before. But nonetheless, Slapbuster says, I'm not old enough to drink coffee. Lots of laughs. Well, I am a coffee drinker, okay? I sometimes drink coffee before my live shows so I can stay up and do my live shows for you guys. So there you go. I'm a coffee drinker. I like it with cream and sugar. I have to have sugar in my coffee. I can't drink straight coffee. I can't do it. It's like drinking motor oil, warm motor oil. I don't know. I got to have cream and sugar in it. So anyway, now y'all know how I drink my coffee. And you can catch Crappie because you know what kind of coffee I drink now, right? No, I'm kidding. All right, Todd Bell, what's going on? David Davis says, hi from Surgoinsville, Tennessee. Did I say that right? Surgoinsville, Tennessee. Thanks to you and your videos of using planer boards, I've been able to put fish in the boat when nothing else will work. Thanks again. You're very welcome. That's what I'm here for, David. That's the whole point of this channel, is to help you guys catch more fish. So right there's a testimony from Mr. David. David, thank you for telling me that. I appreciate that very much. And I'm glad you're able to put some fish in the boat. Planer boards, guys, are a great, great, great way. So if you saw my video, congratulations again, David, by the way. If you saw my video this week, it was on planer boards. If you don't know what a planer board is, or you hadn't yet seen my video, this is a planer board, okay? These planer boards specifically right here are made by Crappie Reaper. They have these at Crappie Cove. They have limited supply of these at Crappie Cove, but they do have some of these at Crappie Cove, and they are Crappie Reapers. It's the exact same board that I use, okay? So again, if they're not on the website yet, I think they just got them in. If Misty is on here, she can probably answer that question if they still have these, or you can call Crappie Cove and ask for the Crappie Reaper planer boards, and she can tell you. Ask for Misty. She can tell you if they still have some. But what this does, and what makes this planer board so great is, and it's really, really bright. So I'm going to get one that's not as bright. Maybe that one won't. There we go. That one won't shine at you guys so brightly. So what's so great about this planer board, guys, is, and I use these a ton during the spawn when the fish are shallow. This is you can fish deep with these. Don't get me wrong. You can fish deep with a planer board, but it's a great shallow water technique, okay? It allows you to pull jigs in shallow water, cover a lot of area, present your bait to a lot of fish, but keep your baits off the bottom. Okay, so in shallow water, fish will run from your boat, because when you're fishing in 5-6 feet of water, your boat's setting a foot or 2 foot down, you're spooking fish. What this planer board does is it has this angle cut on the front of it, okay? It's got this angle cut on the front of it. Now, this is the front of the board, okay? This is the back of the board. The reason I say this is the back of the board is because this counterbalance, this wire, is a counterbalance, which hangs off the back of the board to keep this board running straight up and down in the lake, okay? Just like this. All right, so what you do is you put your line on this front bobber clip and this back bobber clip, and they're positioned exactly where they need to be. There's some engineering went into these things, I'm telling you, so that when your line is, when you're pulling this down the lake, it actually, if this is your boat, okay, as you pull these down the lake, the more line you let out, the further away from the boat this planer board gets, okay? So if you let out 10 feet of line, it may be about right here with your boat. If you let out 20 feet of line, it may be over here, okay? If you let out 40 feet of line, it's going to move over here. Now it's going to go back too, but it's going to pull it away from your boat. What that does is, as your boat goes down the lake, okay, those fish that are in front of your boat, okay, here's the fish. As your boat moves down the lake, see if I can line this up. Boat moves down the lake, those fish split and go to the sides of your boat, all right? So if there's a fish sitting right here in front of your boat gets close to him, he splits and he goes over here. All right, what this planer board does is it's running over here parallel to your boat, and it picks that fish up as he's running away from your boat. So it presents those baits to those fish that you're parting with your boat, all right? It's a great, great, great way to catch fish shallow in the spawn if you like to troll, or if you're on a new lake that you don't know well, or if you don't have electronics. If you do not have electronics, trolling is your best friend. Or should be, because you can cover a lot of water, a lot of depths, use a lot of different baits, put a lot of baits in the water. And if you do not have electronics, more baits in the water equals more fish. That's just simple math. Okay. So these are great tools. I believe every crappie angler should have these and know how to use them, because during the right time of the season, these are absolute killers for crappie. You can cover so much more water. When you're long line trolling, you saw some long line trolling on my video this week. You can actually cover about, with two 12-foot rods and then the width of your boat, you're covering about 30 feet of water. With these, I can cover 200 feet of water with every pass. So instead of covering 30 feet, I can cover 200. I mean, it makes it so much more efficient. And as you guys know, I'm about efficiency. Live scope makes you more efficient. Planer boards in the spring will make you more efficient, and you will catch more fish, I promise. So if you don't have some, get some, try them. You got to try it at least once. It's a blast. And if you like watching that bobber go down, you'll love watching these things shake. Because when a fish gets on these, it does this. It just starts dancing in the lake, and you're like, woo, fish on, fish on. It's a lot of fun. It really is. So anyway, I know that was a jump into a long conversation, but David started it. We're going to blame David. But David, again, I am super excited to hear that using planer boards has made you more successful. Congratulations, and thank you for telling me again. Thank you for the testimony. I appreciate it very much. Tom says fishing Salt Fork. Oh, tomorrow, post cold front. Won't know water temp till I get there, guessing upper 50s. I guess that's Lake Fork tomorrow. Post cold front. Post cold front, Jimmy said Diet Mountain Dew. All right, Diet Mountain Dew it is. Post cold front, Lake Fork, I think is what you're talking about. Post cold front, Lake Fork, water temps. I don't know the water temps on Lake Fork right now, but my guess is there's probably still spawning fish, and we're going to talk about spawn in East Tennessee tonight. That's what we're here for. But down there, they're probably mostly post spawn. Probably a few fish still to be had that are spawning. Tom, thank you, Tom, for the super chat. I appreciate it very much. Going to put your locating crappie class to test. All right, do it. Put it to the test, Tom. Let me know how it goes. Well, since you're going to put my class to the test, and guys, if you don't know what class he's talking about, I teach a class at Crappie Cove every quarter. So the next class is the first Sunday in June. It's the first Sunday every quarter. And if you're interested in those classes, if you're interested in the Crappie Academies, and that's what it's called, is the Crappie Academy at Crappie Cove, you can go to crappiecove.com and you could actually register to participate in the next class. The first class was locating crappie on any lake, anywhere, anytime. It was a great, great time. I had a blast. I think everybody that came to the class learned a lot and actually had a lot that they walked away with. So Tom was there. He's going to put that to good use tomorrow. Tom, let us know how you do. Thank you for the super chat. If you guys want to sign up for the next class is actually going to be on electronics. Let's see real quick. Let me just get you guys a date real quick while we're talking about it. I will go ahead and get you guys the date. All right, so the next class, well, I said I was going to give it to you. My phone just froze. How does your phone freeze? Isn't it funny how your electronics, they always freeze when you need them? Hey, there we go, June 6th. June 6th is the next class. It will be from 1:30 till 5, okay? June the 6th. It is Fish Finder 101, how to set up, read, and understand your electronics. So we're going to go through electronics from front to back. We're going to talk about sensitivities, gains, side imaging, down imaging, standard sonar. We're going to talk about some live scope, okay? We're going to talk about what you're seeing, how you're seeing it, how everything sets up. It's going to be very in-depth, a lot of good stuff. You'll have a book that you can take home with you. You can write in. Everybody gets a book that registers for the class. So it's going to be a lot of good stuff. We're going to watch some videos. We're going to go through some things. We're going to pick out some different types of structures on the video, side imaging out to the sides, down imaging under the boat. We'll show you guys how to pick fish out of brush, how to know what a fish is and what a fish isn't, and so on and so forth. So very good class. It's going to be very detailed, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys want to sign up for that, crappiecove.com, you click on Crappie Academy courses, and you can register for that, okay? And Tom, thank you again for the super chat. Guys, if y'all don't know what a super chat is a way for you to give back to this channel to help keep me on the water, making great content for you guys. So if you want to donate to the channel, right below your comment section, there's a little dollar symbol. You click on that. It will walk you through how to give a super chat. Every super chat that comes in goes right back to crappie fishing, like I said, and it definitely helps keep me on the water. So, it's a blessing. I don't take those lightly, and I thank you very much, Tom, for doing that. All right. Let's see. Where were we at? Andy Perry says, yeah, I'm a coffee drinker. I can drink straight coffee at 21 years old, but not my first preference. I'm not doing straight coffee. I can't do straight coffee. Yeah. All right, Troy says, have the crappie spawned there yet? The weather here has them messed up. So very good question. Let me see if we have any other comments or questions real quick, Troy, and then we'll get into the theme for the night, okay? Which that is the theme for tonight is the spawn in East Tennessee. What's happening? Where's it at? What's going on? Who, what, where, when, how, why? And we're going to talk about it. Ray says, hey, Matt, thank you for sharing. Where'd it go? Thanks for sharing info and videos. You're very welcome. Robert Love says, hello. Slabbuster says he liked the planer board long line video, old schooling, it's called nowadays. Well, that's true. It is kind of called old schooling, but I'm telling you right now, you can still catch a lot of fish long line trolling or pulling planer boards, either one. I mean, if you don't have electronics, that's the way to do it. No doubt. I love it. I still love it. And I have electronics and I still do it. So Mark says if he drank coffee, he would be wired for crappie. That's funny. Blake says, so I stocked the boards and took 2 out and tried them. I will never troll again. I will always use boards now. No comparison. It's awesome. I mean, it really is. And being able to get that board out beside the boat and fish for those fish that are out beside you is very important, in my opinion. Just covering more water. Jamie Nelson, very good question. So I have literally had all different brands of electronics. I've owned Garmin's, I've owned Humminbirds, and I've owned Lowrance's. I run Lowrance's now because that's what fits me best. But yes, to answer your question, Jamie, and very good question, the course will cover all units. It will not just cover Lowrance. It will not just cover Garmin's. It will not just cover Humminbirds. We will talk about the setups for each unit. And they're all very similar, okay? Let me say this. They're all very similar. A lot of them just call things different, okay? So let's take, for instance, sensitivity. Sensitivity on a Humminbird, gain on a Garmin. It's the same thing. Gain is your sensitivity. They just call it gain. Humminbird calls it sensitivity. So we will talk about all that. Yes, we will talk about the differences in the units and the different verbiage or lingo for each unit. And we'll talk about what it means. I'm going to break everything down to just like that right there. I'm going to say, okay, think of it like this. Your sensitivity, all right, your sensitivity, I'm not going to give the whole class away, but your sensitivity on a hummingbird, that's power. Okay, you got to think of it like power. The higher up you turn that sensitivity, the more power you're putting into the lake, the more of a return you're going to get, the brighter of a return you're going to get. Sensitivity is going to brighten your screen up. That's because you're putting out more power in your sonar. Okay, so the higher the sensitivity, the more power you're putting out, the more of a return you're going to get, so on and so forth. So we're going to talk about some really good stuff in that class. I'm not going to give the whole class away tonight. I'm working on it, getting it all put together. It's going to be very, very in-depth and very good. So if you guys would like to participate in that class, you can register to participate in that class in person, or you can register to participate in that class online. So if you do it online, you will still be able to interact with me in the classroom. I will have a moderator there that is asking questions from you guys online. She will be watching the computer and saying, okay, so-and-so wants to know this, so-and-so wants to know that. So the online participants will have just as much ability to ask questions and participate as the in-classroom participants do, okay? The book that I have that I give out to each person in class is a hard copy. It's PDF, it's printed off, and you can write on it and do your thing. The online participants will get that in an email via PDF. It'll be a PDF format. You can choose to print it off, or you can choose to go through it on your computer with us, however you want to do it. I think most of them, I sent it out on Wednesday, the week of the class, and I think they printed it off between Wednesday and Sunday. So anyway, however you want to sign up for that, you can sign up for it. We are going to get very in-depth and talk about a lot of good stuff that'll hopefully help you guys understanding your units and being able to use your units to your advantage and find more fish, be more successful. Larry says, when you're trolling for fish, do you use your trolling motor on your boat motor? What mile per hour do you try to stay at? When I'm trolling, I like to be between 0.8 and 1.2. And yes, I always use my trolling motor. I do not use my big motor to troll. Gas costs too much. So I can recharge those batteries when I get home for a lot less than I put gas in my boat. So I do use my trolling motor. Plus, I have an Ultrex now. I had a Tarova, but either way, they both had iPilot and they both had the trackback feature. And let me tell you something. That trackback feature is the bomb. The bomb. So I can start a pull and record it. And if I go down through there and I catch 6 or 8, 10 fish on one pull, I can literally hit go to start on my track back. It'll flip my boat around and it'll take me right back down the same path to where I started my track, which is really cool. I've been using that a lot lately, actually, because it's hands free. I mean, you can hit go to start. It'll flip the boat around, take you right back to where you started, right down the same line, and you don't even have to touch the remote. You tell it 0.9 mile an hour and it goes. So it's really neat. Technology, what do you know? But I do use my trolling motor. All right, so let's talk a little bit about East Tennessee and the spawn. Okay. So the spawn in East Tennessee this year has been very, very strange. Probably one of the stranger years that I can remember. Fish typically spawn on a full moon. You generally have waves each month around the full moon. Okay. A full moon generally triggers a wave of spawning fish. So there's been 2 full moons that I would consider spawning moons. That was end of February and middle of March, I believe it was. Yeah, I think that's right. Somebody's going to correct me here in a minute. But there's been 2 full moons that I would consider spawning moons, and your early spawners went on that first full moon. There was some spawning fish that moved up. And we're having this conversation tonight because I've seen on a lot of the East Tennessee forums, a lot of the Tennessee crappie fishing forums and things of that nature, Facebook, obviously. And I've had a lot of people on my Facebook page that are friends post a lot of stuff about the crappie spawn and about where it's at, and they think it's done, and they're catching fish that are spawned out, and they're catching some that have eggs. And, you get one guy that says, well, I caught females today and they're all spawned out. And then had another person that would say, hey, I've got all these females that aren't spawned out, still have eggs in them. So they went back and forth, and it was kind of, like, guys, you're probably going to always catch fish that have eggs in them up through June, July, because there's a lot of females that won't spawn during a season. Okay. So I want to say that there's going to be, you can't judge whether the spawn is done or not done by whether you're catching fish with eggs or not, because you're going to catch fish with eggs through June or July, regardless. I don't care where you're at in the country. I don't care what lake you're fishing on. I don't care how good of a spawn you had or how bad of a spawn you had. You're going to catch fish with eggs. You're going to catch crappie with eggs. That cannot be a judge. Okay. So with that being said, all right, the spawn is, hit and miss for a lot of guys and a lot of people. And what is the spawn? Well, obviously, that's when the fish move up shallow, males move in, prepare the beds, females move in, lay, and they're out. Males stay, guard the fry, and then the males move out. Okay. So there's a lot of guys that, well, I'm not catching fish on the bank. Well, it was an off year. It wasn't a good spawn. All I catch is little fish. They didn't spawn. Those fish move up, move out so fast, guys. Those waves of fish move in and move out so fast that you may not catch them on the bank. You may not see them on the bank. You may never even know they're there, but they were there. Every year, it's in their DNA. They have to come up and spawn. Now, do they have to actually spawn? No. But they have to come up and try. It's in their DNA. That's what they do. They're crappie. And I'm a big believer in, again, this is all Matt's paraphrasing, Matt's mindset, but I'm a big, big believer that there's a lot of fish that just won't spawn for whatever reason it is. Now, it may be one of the early spawners. They may move up and they may find something and it just ain't right? So she moves up, she's getting ready to lay. Maybe she moves up, she doesn't find a bed. Maybe there's not enough beds prepared. Guys, I'm telling you, those early spawners are probably, as far as a percentage of yield, those early spawners is probably worse. It's probably the worst by far. And I'll tell you why. Because the conditions are borderline. It's still cool. Still have some cool nights. Still getting some of those temperature drops and swings. And, there may not be as many males move in to prepare a bed as there is females move in to spawn, right? So she may move up. She may not find a bed. She may move out. She may be done for the year. And she may just hold them eggs until she regurgitates them. I mean, she'll regurgitate those right back, or not regurgitate, but she'll reabsorb. She'll reabsorb those eggs right back into her body, and she may try again next year. Okay, but that reabsorbing process can take months. I mean, it's not okay. I'm not going to lay these; they're gone. It can take months for those to reabsorb back into her body. So, and it could be that she moved up and the cold front came through and she moved back out and never tried again. They come in waves. That's the way it is. We know that. That's a fact. That's one thing we know. So black crappie come in first. If you have black crappie in your lake, the ideal temperature for a black crappie is 68. 68 is ideal spawning temps for a black crappie. Always spawn first. Black crappie prefer to spawn on, they really like grass. Black crappie love grass. So if you're up north and you have a lot of grass, or you're on Chickamauga, if you fish Chick, you know there's a overabundance of black crappie in Chick, but there's a lot of grass in Chick too. And the white crappie are slowly declining on Chick, and I believe there's a lot of that is due to the grass. The black crappie just have better spawning habitat, and they're doing a lot better on Chick. So a lot more black crappie down there, but take some place like Watts Bar that doesn't have as much grass, and you've got a really healthy white crappie population. Or take somewhere like Tellico that has no grass, and you've got a huge white crappie population. So, it varies, but by lake. But then 72 degrees is your prime spawning temp for your white crappie. Okay. Your white crappie will spawn at 72 degrees. That's prime temperature for them. Now, what is start and stop, right? 68. A lot of people hear those numbers and they think, okay, when I get to the lake and see 68, there's fish on the bank. No, there's not, because it's still driven by moon, and it's still driven by, and you've got to think to yourself, what depth are you sitting in? Are you sitting in 25 feet of water reading a surface temp of 68? Because in 3 feet of water where fish are spawning at, it could be 77 or 78. You got to keep in mind those shallow depths aren't going to hold that cool temp as long, because a good sunny week is going to warm those 3 foot areas up really quick, right? So let's take this back to the beginning of the conversation where, I said East Tennessee has been a very strange spawning year, because we had some warm weather and we were seeing those temps get up towards spawn temperatures. And then we got a big cold front. And that 2 weeks of really warm weather was the end of that, was that full moon, that first full moon, and temperatures were getting kind of close. And I believe that there was a lot of fish that spawned in late February, early March that nobody ever really saw, because they moved up, they spawned, the cold front came through. Now, do I think that the cold front that came through was detrimental to the fry or the eggs that were left? It potentially could have been. The lakes were up and they hadn't really drawn them back down. We were fortunate to get a lot of rain this spring, and the lakes did come up, and they never really sucked the bottom back out of them. Sometimes they'll suck the bottom back out of our lakes, and I know that affects the eggs because it puts them back on dry ground. But we were fortunate this year that our lakes stayed up a little bit, and I don't think we have to worry too much with the lake drop this year. But the temperature swings, potentially. I don't know. The second wave of fish that came in, I do believe, was probably the week after the ACC tournament. There was probably a good wave that came in then. And I had my dates wrong. I think it was early March and early March and mid-April were the moons that I was thinking about. Yeah, early March and mid-April, because it was right after the ACC tournament. And I think there was a wave of fish that came in. Sorry, my dates are all messed up. They all run together. But there was probably a wave of fish that came in the week after that ACC tournament. I know there were some fish that were caught shallow, a few on Watts Bar. Most everything was caught pretty deep, but I think that next week there were some fish that moved up that week and spawned. And again, guys, the spawn is the most misunderstood season for crappie. I swear it is. It's the easiest season to catch fish in. It's the one that everybody wants to fish in, but it's the most misunderstood because everybody thinks. I think it's been publicized to the fact that when the dogwoods bloom, all these fish in the lake go to the bank, and you can go catch them for a month, and then after that, they all go and they're gone again. And I swear, I think that's the furthest thing from the truth. These fish come in groups, and it may be different pocket to pocket. I mean, I've seen where you can catch spawning fish in one creek 1 week and go to the next creek the following week and catch fish that weren't in there the week before. All right. It's all waves. It's all done in waves, and it's done over a course of months. It's not done over weeks. It's not done over days. It's done over months and months and months of time and temperatures and moons, and there's a lot that plays into that. There's so many crappie in the lake. There's no way they could all hit the bank at one time. I mean, think about how many crappie are in your lake. I mean, there's people you see on Facebook now. You see that social media has really exploded, and everybody's putting pictures of limits and limits and limits and limits of fish that are taken out of your lake. I mean, think about that. There's that many limits coming out of our lakes. Think about how many fish are in that lake. A lot. So, people used to say all the time 90% of the fish live in 10% of the lake. I'm starting to disagree with that. I think 100% of fish live in 50% of the lake is more like my thinking, because we've just seen so much more now that electronics are so great and they're so so good. We've just learned a lot more, and the guys that are out there on the lake week in and week out, day in and day out, are really starting to see a lot of things that we didn't know. So anyway, to answer the question, is the spawn over? Because that's one question that I've seen a bunch this week is the spawn over? No. I think there's still a wave of fish to come. I have for years and years been able and been successful catching spawning fish into June. And I believe that'll hold true again this year. I think there's another wave of fish to come. You're still going to be able to catch those fish shallow, guys. And I think for a lot of those fish, it really hadn't started yet. Some fish it has, but for a lot of them, it hadn't started yet. So you're going to see an extension to our spawn this year because of the colder temps that we've had and because of the swings that we've had. I think it's going to extend the spawn well into June, and we'll see. We'll see. I know Texas, they had a really good spawn down there. Louisiana had a good spawn. Some of those southern states have warmed up quite a bit, and they've had good spawns. I just don't think we're there yet. I don't think it's hit here yet. I was on the lake this last weekend, and water temperatures were still low. So, I would be safe saying there's another wave of fish coming. All right, let's see here. Any way you could tell about East Tennessee Crappie Club, all the lakes you fish, and dates and times? Thank you, Joel. Absolutely. So East Tennessee Crappie Club is a club that fishes once a month. Okay, we fish Cherokee, Douglas, Loudon, Watts Bar, Melton Hill, Tellico, and Chickamauga. I get them all in there? Yeah, I think I did. The dates that we fish we fish the third Saturday of every month from September through April. Third Saturday of every month, and it's always on a different lake because we have enough lakes in East Tennessee that we move around. The classic this year was held on a blind lake. We didn't tell everybody where we were fishing. We drew that lake Thursday night, and it was off limits until the tournament. So it was a really fun event. Now, it was a little unfortunate that we drew Watts Bar out of the hat, which everybody had kind of been on for the last few weeks with the ACC tournament. or a lot of people, not everybody, but anyway, it's still a lot of fun because nobody knew where we were going and nobody had time to pre-fish. Nobody was allowed to pre-fish, so it was a lot of fun. But the membership fees into the club, Joel, are $35 a year to be a member. And then the tournaments are $35 a boat. So I think that's going to change this coming year. I think the tournament fee is going to go to $40 a boat, but that has not been voted on yet or decided. But I think it's going to go to $40 a boat for even numbers sake. And then I think we're going to hold a little bit extra money out of each tournament purse. I think we're going to take $5 out of each entry fee and try to save that for the Classic and increase the pot for the Classic for all the members. So that's something new coming this year. But great group of guys, great people. There's a lot of them on here tonight. I saw Rusty Prophet. I saw Ashley Coffey, Josh Sanders. I don't know if I saw his name, if he's on here or not, but a lot of great people in that club. A lot of them follow here. If you're looking for some place to go have fun with a good group of guys, be a little competitive, you're not going to win a ton of money, but you're going to be competitive and it's going to be a lot of fun. East Tennessee Crappie Club is where it's at. So we have a Facebook page, East Tennessee Crappie Club on Facebook. It's East TN Crappie Club. Tennessee is abbreviated TN on Facebook. You can check us out. Shoot me a message there. I get those messages personally. So if you want to join the club, I can send you any more information or if you have any other questions. Ashley says, I'm still seeing and catching blacks that haven't spawned. It's been stretched out more than ever, more than I've ever seen by the weather. Also depends on areas of each lake. Some areas warm faster than others. That's exactly right. So the north end of most lakes in East Tennessee are going to warm quicker than the south end. And I'll tell you why, because the south end of our lakes in East Tennessee are dammed and they're typically deeper. Your deeper side of the lake or north-south, the deeper end of your lake is going to spawn later than the upper end. The upper end of your lake that is shallower is going to spawn first. So you can actually follow those fish down. You can actually start on the north end of your lake, find spawning fish, and you can actually follow those fish down the lake as the lake warms up and catch those spawners all the way down to the dam. It's a lot of fun. And that's one thing that I always ask myself when I'm going to fish for a week, where am I putting in at? And if I'm putting in at, say, Concord on Loudon in Knoxville, I know at that point, if I fish Little River 2 weeks before and caught spawning fish, and then probably a good chance that at Concord, they're going to be spawning when I put in 2 weeks after that. So, it's going to progress down the lake as the lake warms up. Johnny Coots, very good question. What's the deal when you have 50 crappie on a brush pile, catch 3, can't get any more to bite? That is called the habanero effect. No, no, that is called the mass crappie effect. I'll call it that. Johnny, that is going to be your large group of probably smaller fish that are there grouped up for the sole purpose of protection. All right. I've said it for years. I'll say it again. Very good question, by the way. Most of the time, if I find a brush pile that is just thick with crappie, I won't spend more than 5 minutes there because you're going to get that mass crappie effect. They're all bunched up. They're doing that for a reason, and that's so that they don't become prey for larger fish. But they're just lethargic. They're just sitting there schooled up. That's not always, but that's most of the time you find those larger groups of fish. You'll get a couple to bite, but then they just stop. I mean, you may get 2, 3, 4 to bite, but then they're going to shut off on you. And you know, I prefer to find those areas that have 6 or 7 fish. If I can find a brush pile or a stake bed or a dock or a bamboo set or a tree or a rock or whatever it is, a stump that has 6 or 7 fish on it, generally you can catch all 6 or 7 of those fish off there because they're sitting there to feed or they're sitting there, they're bigger fish. Those very large groups of fish are generally smaller, and that's kind of the effect you get. Krusty said you forgot Norris Lake. If y'all want to go to Norris Lake, I'm fine with it, but somebody else is going to run the tournament. I'm not going to Norris Lake. Y'all are welcome to, though, but I'm not. Crappie Crushing TV says, I have plenty of boards, but just ordered a set of Reapers. Thanks for the 10%. You're very welcome. You'll like the Reapers, trust me. They are they're great. They're a great made board. They're brighter than all get out. Obviously, they glow when I put them up there. I don't know if they're glowing for you guys, but they glow on my screen. So anyway, very, very bright, great paint, great, very well built. And I hadn't had one run untrue. They always run true. So I'm a big fan. These are the only boards that I'll run anymore. I've run several different brands, but these are the only ones I'll run. Josh says, I'm here just doing a lot of stuff, get ready for vacay. Josh says, don't think, just join the club and jump right in. You'll learn a ton and get a lot of good experience. There's a learning curve. Josh will probably tell you there's a learning curve to the club, but the club helps. We help. And that's, we've got a lot of good people, a lot of good guys that enjoy helping. And you will learn at East Tennessee Crappie Club. We always, at the end of every tournament, the guys that finish in the top, they always tell what they did, how they caught their fish, what they caught them on, what depths they caught them in. A lot of guys tell you what area of the lake they fished in. And, it's just a really, really good time with a lot of really good people and a lot of knowledge. So it's just another way to increase your crappie fishing and your catch rate. So it is a lot of fun for sure. Charles Davison, ever put in Shady Grove? I have, yeah. I fished out Shady Grove a lot. It's a great area of the lake. There's a lot of stuff to fish there. There's a lot of brush, a lot of man-made stuff, a lot of natural stuff. Yep, very good area. Slabbuster says, had a really good spawn on Neely. Fishing has been great as well. All I've caught has spawned out. I'm sure there's some somewhere, Slabbuster, that probably haven't. I'm sure there's still some females holding eggs somewhere on Neely. Jeff Branham, do you ever fish Boone Lake? No, I have not fished Boone Lake. I've heard, didn't they just get Boone Lake back up to the pool? Didn't they have like a dam issue on Boone, Jeff, where they had to drain the lake due to a crack in the dam or something like that? Isn't that Boone? I think that is. Drop me another comment. I think that's Boone. And is it back up yet? I don't know if that's back up yet or not. Johnny says, can't get Super Chat to take money. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know why it wanted, Johnny. I can give you my PayPal if you want. Maybe, I don't know if you have PayPal or not, but if you want to send it through PayPal, you can. I'll put my PayPal address down here. I guess I should say what that is. I mean, there's my PayPal address if you want to send it there. Thank you. But yeah, I think Boone was down. Boone had something going on with the dam. Jeff hadn't commented back, or I hadn't seen it yet, but they had something going on up there. I think it's Boone, but no, I haven't, and that's a little further north than I go or have gone. Probably need to. Ashley Ashley says, with live scope and too many waypoints to ever check them all now, thanks to you, I'll have Norris figured out before too long. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I fished Norris. I've been on Norris and caught crappie on Norris. Don't get me wrong. There's crappie in Norris Lake. And I've told everybody this. You can catch crappie on Norris Lake, okay? There is fish in Norris, but they are few and far between. They don't particularly like docks very much, although I did catch fish off docks when I was there. But I looked at 100 docks and found fish on 2, which was agonizing. But yeah, Norris is a funny lake. I hear it's all about the blowdowns. It's all about the laydowns and the blowdowns on bluffs. And I did not fish that while I was there. I need to go back and fish that. But I've heard and seen some big fish come out of Norris. So I know there's fish in there, and I've caught fish out of there. So I know there's crappie in there. But it's tough, guys. It's tough to get around to all these lakes and fish all these lakes and put the time in all these lakes with a schedule. I mean, it's tough. Very busy schedule, especially fishing with East Tennessee Crappie Club, fishing a different lake every month, trying to do my homework on those lakes, trying to get great content for you guys, and then fish a tournament and do well in it. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get outside that realm, let alone, any other states and things like that. But we're going to. This year is going to be a traveling year. It's going to be an exploring year. We're going to go to a lot of different lakes. I was talking to a gentleman tonight that, I want to go try to start branching out once a month, go to a lot of different areas, hopefully do some day trips. I mean, there's day trips all around me that there's Hartwell, there's High Rock is pushing it for a day trip, but you might be able to make it that far. There's Weiss, Neely, there's Gunnersville, there's Lanier, there's a lot of different bodies of water around. There's Middle Tennessee lakes. I know a lot of guys from Middle Tennessee that have really great fishing over in Middle Tennessee, Dale Holla and Clark's Hill and things of that nature. So, a lot of day trips coming. And a lot of new water coming. That's what I'm excited about. I love new water. I love fishing new water. I love trying to go to a lake and see how quickly I can get on crappie. That's kind of one of the things that I love to do. Utilize my maps, utilize my electronics, utilize my knowledge, and see how quick I can get on crappie on new lake. So it was ridiculous at Hartwell last year where I went to Hartwell last year for the members trip, the East Tennessee Crappie Club members trip. I have fished Hartwell before, but I'd never fished this particular branch of Hartwell and never put in at this boat ramp or even been anywhere within 6 miles of where I put in on the lake, or really further than that, probably 10 miles from where I was at. And I found fish in like 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. Some of you guys saw the video. I put in at this boat ramp and I was idling out and I was getting all my stuff situated, and I just turned my units on and I sat down in the boat and I looked up and I went across this little point and there was a brush pile on this point and it just lit up, and I was like, well, that was easy. Okay. I just flipped the boat around and started fishing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Had a great trip and I love it. I really do. So we're going to do some of that this year. Looking forward to that. Aaron Pratt says, ever crappie fish Chilhowie? I have not, but I know guys that have, and there is crappie in Chilhowie. That's another lake I'm probably going to go to that needs to have some filming done on it. And it's a smaller lake, but I've heard that it's a good crappie lake. I mean, there's fish in it. Now there's more perch in it than there is crappie. A lot of perch in Chilhowie, a lot of big perch in Chilhowie, and we may go down and catch some of them. Would you guys like to see a perch video? I mean, would you guys like to look and catch some? I'm talking perch. I'm not talking perch. I'm talking perch, biggins. So we may go do that. Go see if we can't catch some yellow perch, and put those on video for you guys too. Kenneth Pippins. Matt, how often would you travel to a lake 3 hours away? 3 hours is a day trip, and that's kind of what I'm talking about right now, Kenneth, is kind of a day trip thing, but I'd probably only do it once a month. For me, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 lakes that I can be to within an hour. 5 different lakes. I've got 3 that I can be to within 30 minutes, and I've got 5 that I can be to within an hour. So it is a little difficult to get outside of that, but a 3-hour trip, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that once a month. Johnny, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it very much. That's a blessing to me, and I thank you for it. Like I said, it goes right back into crappie fishing, making good content for you guys. So thank you. I appreciate it, Johnny. Lance says, at Wired for Crappie, have you fished for crappie in Colorado? No, I have not. I have not fished for crappie in Colorado, but I feel like that would be a blast because I feel like the scenery in Colorado is even more beautiful than the scenery in Tennessee. So I think that would be a lot of fun. What lake would you recommend, Lance? If I get to Colorado, what lake would you recommend? Jeff is talking about Boone. Yes, been down 5-6. Yes. Should be full pull this summer. So yeah, they did have a lot of issues with Boone, and they had some issues at the dam, but I think they got that fixed. And from what I hear, it'll be back to full pull this summer, so that's good. Jeff, is that where you fish? You fish Boone a lot? And are you successful catching crappie in Boone? I know I can tell you this from a lot of the videos and stuff that I saw about the drawdown and the vegetation and stuff that grew back up in place where the lake normally is, like the vegetation that grew on the banks where there's normally lake. You guys are going to have some good fishing for a couple years. It'll probably take a couple years for it to get good again once they raise it back up. But when they raise it back up and all those bushes and stuff flood, I know there was a big effort to clear a lot of that out in areas where it would be detrimental to boating traffic. But I think on Boone, there was a lot of areas that weren't really necessarily needed to be cleared for boat traffic, and they left that vegetation on the bank. When all that floods, oh my gosh. You talk about good spawning habitat, and you talk about yields of fish coming. I mean, it's 2 or 3 years. Population is going to get good up there. Boone's going to have fish in it all over the place, bass, crappie, and everything else. But yeah, it'll be good a couple years from now for sure. Matt Helmick says, yes, perch. Oh, we'll have to do that. We'll have to go over there and try to catch some. John Martin Reservoir. I'm originally from East Tennessee. Military brought me here. John Martin Reservoir. Where's that at? Central? Is that Central Colorado? John Martin? I think it is. Oops. Hasty, Colorado. Hasty, Colorado. So that is, no, it's kind of southwest Colorado, right? John Martin Reservoir. Have you ever fished for crappie in it? And what branch of the military brought you there? Thank you for your service. I appreciate it very much, Lance. We all appreciate it. As you guys know, I'm retired Marine Corps. So if you're Marine Corps, hoorah. If you're not, I'm sorry. I won't hold it against you. But anyway, what branch are you? And if you're Army, you can be friends with Chris. No, I'm just kidding. Chris may or may not be on here anymore. If he is, he'll say something in a minute. But I'm not going to give him time. We've been on here a little over an hour, guys. So, again, just to kind of recap the night, guys, if you have any last comments, last questions, please leave them down there for me as I close out tonight with final thoughts. But spawn's not over. Spawn lasts for months. You will catch. There he is. Crappie Crushing TV, Semper Fi, my friend, Semper Fi. Hoorah. But spawn's not over, guys. It lasts. Yeah, Army. Lance's Army. Yes, I have big slabs and Army. Haha. All right. Well, I'll remember that, Lance. We'll remember John Martin Reservoir. If I ever get to Colorado, I'll have to put the boat in. I'm seeing my bucket list develop before my eyes. So through talking to all you guys, I see my bucket list just growing and growing and growing and growing. And what's going to end up happening is when I get to be retirement age, like Chris, I'm going to have to buy a brand new boat, hook it to the back of a truck, and drive cross country and put in all these lakes and fish day after day after day, and spend 2 months driving cross country when my kids are grown and my wife's had enough of me and decides she's done and wants me out of the house and out of her hair. I will hook to a boat and go somewhere for about 2 months and just put in all these different lakes. So my bucket list is growing, and I'll get there eventually. I promise that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun ride. Hopefully I'm still making videos for you guys and y'all still watching me when I'm old and feeble. But yeah, let me recap. Let me get back to what I was talking about. Don't let me get off track. I'll go off on tangents. All right, so spawn's not over, guys. It really isn't. It's going to last. I see it lasting through June. The weather, the rains, the patterns, the full moons, everything that we've had in East Tennessee is telling me that this spawn is going to be drawn out. It's going to be a little spawn in here, a little spawn in there. You're not going to get a big wave. Most people always think on years like this that there wasn't a spawn, that we had a failed spawn. We won't have a failed spawn. Fish will find a way to spawn, and it's just going to be in small increments because they're going to move up when it's right. They're not when it's not right. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to move up. So those fish are naturally driven to spawn. They will find a way to spawn. Okay. That's just what they do. It's what they were created to do. And that's what they'll do. So don't hold your head down. Don't ask, is it over? Is it done? Did it not happen? Yes, it's happening. Yes, it's not done. There will be fish spawn into June. I promise you that. I think that you will see those. You will catch females. If you go fishing, you will catch females that have spawned out, because there are some that have spawned out. But it doesn't mean it's over. Okay, guys. You can still catch those shallow fish. And just like I've told people, like I've told you guys before, my spring pattern, my spring to early summer pattern is shallow to deep. Start shallow, work your way out. If you can't find them in 5 feet, move to 8. If you can't find them in 8, move to 12. If you can't find them in 12, go to 15. If you can't find them in 15, go to 18. Keep moving out until you find those fish. Once you find the fish, try to stay in that depth across the lake, or at least in the area that you're in. Try to stay in that depth and keep catching fish. Keep having fun. So move around. If fish aren't active, move somewhere else. Never stay on inactive fish. Always go find active fish. There's always active fish in the lake somewhere. Go find them. But Crappie crushing TV. I've got you guys off on a military kick now. I love it. I love it. Making Waves TV says, I may argue with that one, Sarge. Crappie crushing TV. Hoorah, get some. Lots of laughs. Now I'm done. Or, no, I'm done now. Sorry, lots of laughs. Making Waves. Gate guards. No, we're all brothers from other mothers. That's right. We are. We all like to give each other crap, but at the end of the day, we're all there for the same cause, same purpose, right? So, Jeff says, I fish Boone and Cherokee for stripers for 20. Yes, just getting into the crappie fishing. All my buddies either gone or unable to fish any longer. Fishing by myself most of the time now. You know, that's a common thing that I see across crappie fishing that I've seen for years, ever since I started East Tennessee Crappie Club back 8 years ago or 7 years ago, or how many years ago it was. Again, it's a blur all up here. Everything, time is just so. It's funny to me the amount of people that I meet or have met over the years that say, I used to bass fish, I used to striper fish, I used to catfish, I used to, fish for this, fish for that, but now I'm old and I crappie fish. It's like, the younger generation is always geared towards a faster, more high pace way or method of fishing, and then we all come back to good old crappie when it's said and done, right? So I just did it a little earlier in life, but my wife tells me I'm 34 trapped in an 84-year-old body. So I have a 34-year-old body with an 84-year-old mind, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me. So I love my crappie fishing. That's where I like to stay, and that's where I'm going to stay. So I'm perfectly fine with that, and I'm going to make myself the best crappie fisherman I can. And we'll go catch some of these other fish every once in a while, but I'm going to stay right here where I like it, right? So anyway, we're going to call it a night. We've been on for a little over an hour, and I appreciate you guys for watching. We'll have some good stuff next week. Oh, let's talk about next week real quick. Next week is probably going to be the biggest week on the Wired for Crappie lives ever. Next week is probably my second or third largest announcement ever. And I'm not talking about Wired for Crappie announcements. I'm talking the second or third biggest in my life, not just on Wired. Okay, so you will not want to miss next week. I know that's mean, that's cruel. I shouldn't say anything week and out because you guys are going to have to wait a week to figure it out. But next live is going to be epic. It is going to be, I'm very excited about it. I'm very optimistic about it. I think all of you guys will want to see it, be there, experience it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So next week's live is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to do it this week, but just wasn't quite prepared this week. So next week is going to be one you won't want to miss. So mark it on your calendars. Make sure you're there. I appreciate you guys for watching. Watch out for this week's video. We are going to we're staying off LiveScope. We're not using LiveScope this week. We're going to stay off LiveScope, and we're going to do a non-LiveScope show that you guys will want to watch because I've got a new product that I'm using. It's not a sponsored product. It's just something that I've come across in my travels, and I really, really, really like it. It has improved my setup tenfold. So you guys will want to watch that this week. Watch out for the new house episode coming out tomorrow. And I appreciate everybody, each and every one of you, for being here live with me. Thank y'all very much. And y'all have a great week. Have a good weekend. Go catch some fish. And we'll see you next week. I appreciate you guys. As always, God bless. We'll see you later.